Now, since, guys, it is pretty much like a private session here, is there anything that you're still wondering about in terms of this technology, whether or not it can accomplish something? Because I can really direct the rest of this training the way that you guys want to go. If not, then I would like to go into the TurningPoint settings and talk about some of the different options in there.
Well, no, I can't.
Yeah, we were more curious on what was covered in this class, because we did play with it, and the software is very intuitive, very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. I appreciate that feedback, guys.
So we didn't really get stumped anywhere, but
okay.
This is kind of like, what features did we not explore because we didn't know they existed?
Of course, definitely. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and expose you to a couple other things that are available within the software that I usually don't cover in classes just because people maybe use them less than 1% of the time. And I'm going to show you one of these right away. This is actually down at the very bottom of the Insert Slide tab, and it's called Moment to Moment. So the Moment to Moment, the best way to describe this is if you guys can think back a couple years ago when the presidential debates were going on, and they had a live audience in there, and if the audience liked what the candidate was saying, the little red line would go up. If they didn't like what the candidate was saying, the little red line would go down. This is the same thing. In fact, that was our technology that was used for that. So if I go ahead and start this moment to moment, and I have response cards in front of me, it's going to take a reading every 2 seconds. Okay, so if somebody's talking, or maybe I'm watching a video and I really like it, I'm going to click a 5. I click a 5, you're going to see it's going up. Now, I'm obviously the only person answering, and I only have one card, but it would take an average of how the audience is answering every 2 seconds. Okay, so this is moment to moment right here, and the moment to moment, the only time I've ever seen this used was actually in higher education. Somebody had a psychology class, and they were showing a video. And at certain segments of the video, the professor would ask their students how they felt about what was being shown. Now, of course, the professor was not projecting this. They were just sitting back at their computer, and they're analyzing the results because they knew exactly what was happening at that video at a particular time segment. So they knew exactly what was going on at 44 seconds. And they're able to really gauge the reaction of the audience based on this moment-to-moment. That's not a very widely used feature, but that is available within the technology that we have here.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool thing. Definitely is. No doubt about it. Now, I do want to go ahead and talk about some of these icons up here which have not yet been covered, and if we did cover them, we haven't talked about everything in there yet. The first thing is reset. We all know what resetting the session does. It basically resets the slides, gets them down the ground level, gets us ready to go ahead and pull the audience. And if we had the same presentation and we had a couple of different audiences going through it, we would make sure that we reset the session from one audience to the next. But what about this current slide and all slides? Well, the all slides is actually very powerful. Let's say that I am teaching class and I have an 8 a.m. class and I have a 10 a.m. And they're both the same class, which means they're pretty much going to go through the same presentation. Well, after the 8 a.m. class gets done, I'm not going to save their session. I'm not going to save the results. I am instead just going to reset all slides. Now, after the 10 a.m. class gets done, now I save the session. Because I just reset all slides and I didn't reset the entire session, that means that when I generate the reports, it's going to combine the results from both classes. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, what's the difference between that and merging session files? Well, there's not really a large difference between it, but there's no way to merge session file or reset all slides for classes that are not back-to-back. You wouldn't want to do that because you wouldn't be keeping a PowerPoint presentation open. But if I had back-to-back classes and they were going through the same presentation, and I didn't want individual results from each class, I just want it combined, instead of resetting the session, I would just reset all slides and allow the information to just go ahead and compound. You guys understand what I mean by all slides?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
The same thing with the current slide. So if you just want to build on the information from a particular one single slide, this will allow you to do it. Continue prior session. Well, think about what the word's saying. It's continuing a prior result. So let's say I'm running a presentation. I have 10 turning point slides. But on day one, I only get through 5 of those. Well, if I only got through 5, I still need to save those results. I still need to save the information. So I'm still going to save the session after day 1. Day 2, I come back and I need to finish the presentation. So I'm just going to open up TurningPoint and click on Continue Prior Session. I can go ahead from here, find the session file in PowerPoint that I want to continue. I can bring it up, and I'm just going to go ahead and build on that presentation. So of course I would start with slide number 5. And then I would go ahead and resave the session, and it's going to go ahead now and override the previous session file. So you're just going to build on a presentation that perhaps you just did not complete yet. That's continue prior session. You guys have any questions on that icon?
No.
No.
Okay. Now convert to picture slide. I want to show you guys this. This allows you to go ahead and keep pictures as answer choices rather than text. So if you want to do this, the first thing you're going to do is actually just insert a regular chart slide. And with this chart slide, I'm going to go ahead and type it out with however it is I want to ask the question. So this is going to be a really long question, so I'm going to go ahead and make it short. So I'm just going to put, who is the president? And I have pictures. I was almost Spanish for a second. I have pictures that's going to go ahead and represent these presidents. Now I am going to go ahead and type out the names of the presidents that I have pictures of. So I have JFK, I have FDR, I have Carter, and I also have Washington. Okay, so right now, as we can see, we just have a standard question and answer slide. There's nothing unique about this. At this step, I'm going to go ahead and bring these pictures in as answer choices. So I'm going to click on my Insert tab on the regular PowerPoint toolbar, and I'm going to click on Picture. So these are the files with all my pictures in here. I know that FDR is an answer choice, so I'll bring him in. And Carter. I have George Washington, and I also have JFK in here somewhere. There he is. All right, now, of course, my next step is to go ahead and size these pictures and arrange them in the order that I want them to be answer choices. So my first person up there is JFK. So I'm going to bring JFK up here, and I'm going to blow, well, that's a little bit wrong, right? Saying blow up. Don't want to do that. Just make it a little bit larger. There we go. All right, so the next thing I want to do is go ahead and bring FDR over, increase the size of his picture. Now we got Washington, and Carter, and then Washington. Okay, so now these are the order that they are answer choices, and I can actually arrange these any way I want. So if I wanted to scatter them all over this page, that's completely fine. There's no problem with that. Now I need to actually make these pictures answer choices. To do this, by holding down my Shift key, I'm going to go ahead and press or click on each picture in the order that I want them to be answer choices. So holding down the Shift key, I'm going to click on JFK first, then FDR, then Carter, and then Washington. Now I'm going to come up here to my Turning Point ribbon and click on the icon which reads Convert to Picture Slide. Now that I've done this, I have pictures as answer choices rather than the text. Now the whole reason of actually typing out the name of these pictures is it does put it below the charts. Okay, cool. So that's why I typed it out first. Now what you could do, if you didn't even want your students to see the names below the charts, then you can just go ahead and bring the pictures in and convert it to picture slide. And instead of it having names below the charts, it's just going to say picture choice 1, picture choice 2, picture choice 3, so on and so forth. You guys have any questions on converting slides to picture slides?
Nope.
All right. Let's go over here to the Insert Object tab, and some of these we have not yet talked about, including these first two, charts and animated charts. The Charts tab actually does two separate things. The first thing that it does is very basic. Notice how I initially have a vertical chart in there. If I decide when I'm still creating the presentation that I want my students to see the results in a different type of chart format, I can just go ahead and change it from here. Basically, I don't have to cut the slide out and start from scratch if I just want to change the charts. Now, probably the most important option here and the most powerful thing that we can do with charts is convert PowerPoint slides to Turning Point slides. So if I already have created PowerPoint slides that have questions in there, I can go ahead and convert those to Turning Point as long as they are in the appropriate format. Let me show you what I mean. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and insert a regular PowerPoint slide, and the format must be title and text. In other words, the question needs to be up here in the title box, and the answer choices need to be in the text box below. Now remember, I'm creating this from scratch, but you guys are already going to have this in the presentation though. Okay, so this is title and text. Now because it is in the appropriate format, to convert this to Turning Point, I'm just going to click on Insert Object and insert the charts. So when I insert vertical, it has now turned it over to an interactive slide. Okay, so title and text is the format that it needs to be in. Just insert the chart, and as long as it's in that format, you now have an interactive slide. You guys have any questions on that process?
No, that's great.
Excellent.